Shanti sister.
Om Shanti. I'm hoping Brother Jose comes online and kind of starts us off. I'm not sure what to expect.
Yes, Om Shanti, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's lecture. Tonight's lecture is the magic of awareness, and Sister Sandhya will be the main speaker. And so I just want to let you know that this lecture is being recorded and streaming to YouTube and Facebook. So you can always go back to the Facebook page or YouTube and watch it again. So welcome again and enjoy. Go ahead, sister.
Thank you. Let me change my view. All right, I can see everyone. Om Shanti, everyone. Good evening.
Om Shanti.
Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, sister.
Good. So let us start with a few moments of stabilizing our awareness before we talk about it. So wherever you are seated, make sure you're seated comfortably and feet on the ground. So start by taking a few slow, deep breaths. Feel yourself relaxing more and more deeply. As your mind and heart drift away from this world, away from the sights and sounds all around you, into a soft space, a stillness. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a shore. A beautiful, vast lake that stretches for miles. See a boat in front of you, boat of your dreams, a boat that you always wanted to ride. See yourself sitting in that boat, comfortable and secure, and feel it as it drifts out into the center of the lake, slowly, quietly, leaving the shore of your life for a few moments. Your work, family, home, things that take your attention, leave everything behind and just drift in this boat. Just see yourself far, far away from everything, under the blue sky. Around you is just this beauty. There is water and the sky. You begin to sense the lightness of your spirit. You start sensing a deep quietness within you. And this happens as you slowly drift away from the everyday problems, the everyday situations. Just allow yourself to go to the center of the lake. you begin to start feeling yourself weightless. There is no burden in the mind. You're just there. No one calling on you, no one asking you anything. It's just you by yourself. It's just the beautiful light of the sun and the lake. Now slowly look at the other shore and see it now as a beautiful, exquisite place. And on that shore, you see an extraordinary vision of yourself. A beautiful you, full of beauty, full of light, full of goodness. See your brilliance. See how amazing and how beautiful you are. See the qualities that radiate from this extraordinary you. And as you look at it, describe it to yourself. What are you seeing? A beautiful divine being, luminous, full of light, beautiful. And as you come to that shore, leave the boat and merge yourself with this extraordinary you. And feel that light, that vitality, that beauty spread through every part of you. Just allow it to enter every cell of your spirit and your body. This is who you are. And slowly, when you are ready, with this new vision, this newfound you,
one ripping apart buildings in Jefferson County. ABC's chief meteorologist
get back into the boat.
Hi, Cecilia. A particularly dangerous situation tornado warning, something we reserved.
And enjoy coming back. Into your life, knowing that this is the new you, extraordinary, divine, brilliant, a being of divine light. Feel that peace and light within you. Om Shanti.
High by historic standards, but how do they compare?
You may want to mute yourself if there is anything else going on in your background. Brother Jose, are you able to check and make sure?
Yes, I'm checking.
Okay.
So everyone, please, can you make sure that your mic is muted so there won't be background sound, and the sister will let you know when you can say something, when you can share something. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Also, if you really want to take benefit from this session, I would suggest that you move away from television, radio, or other things that are happening in your background so you don't disturb yourself, because you can't focus on two things at the same time. We all know this, and that's what today's session is going to be. So, today, the topic we have chosen is the magic of awareness. You remember when we were all young, as children, we are taken by magic, isn't it? We are amazed when the unexpected happens in front of us. And sometimes I think, even as we grow up and we have become older, when we look at a magic show and you see something extraordinary, you're still amazed, right? It still takes you. So today I wanted to talk about how we can actually have magic in our life all the time, and we can create our own magic. It is a power, it is a skill all of us have, but somehow it has been lost over a period of time. We've forgotten how to do that. So today we are going to see how this awareness that we have is magic. It can completely change the way you experience something right in front as it is happening. And it's done through changing my own awareness. So I just thought we'll play with this concept a little today. We'll hear a couple of stories so we understand what we are talking about. We'll talk a little about awareness, and then we'll try a few things. Let's see how it goes. I'm told the subject itself is a little slippery, it's a little subtle, but we'll try our best. Your game? Okay. The word awareness is something we use quite often in our life, but we're not completely clear on what it exactly means. And especially, I think, in the spiritual context. When it comes to awareness drives, you're all aware, right? That there is breast cancer awareness drive. So the idea is to make sure that people know about a particular something that's important to know about. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, is it enough to know? Awareness itself is not enough to know, right? Many times we know we should be eating the right food, right? Healthy food, food that's right for me, for my health, whatever that is. But then when it comes to the moment of eating, I am aware, and yet I'm not aware. Something else takes over, right? We are not sure. Sometimes we are like, I can't make so much effort, or sometimes I'm tempted by what's available in front of me. Something. But at that moment when I'm doing the action, although I know in my background, I don't know at that moment. So that is not awareness. Awareness is two things together. One is to know, and it is to remember. Remember at the moment when it is needed. So it is knowing and remembering. In the original Hindi language, it is called smriti, which means what is on top of your mind. That is, where is my attention? If you want to know what my awareness is, the way to know it is to know where my attention is. That's what is called awareness. And that is my awareness at that moment. And it constantly changes. We have the ability to change our awareness. It's not always the same. But randomly changing awareness is one thing. But to know what awareness I want to hold at a certain moment and to be able to hold it, that creates the magic in my life. So when we were doing the first meditation, right, we were looking at ourselves. Now that is something we do all the time, right? When you go into the bathroom and you look at the mirror, you're looking at yourself. But what are you looking at? You're looking at your body. So that's the awareness you have. Am I dressed properly? Have I done the right things, right? Even before my session, I did that. I went in and checked to say if my face was okay, my hair was okay, before I come on the camera. We do that. The other is when I look at myself, the way someone has told me I am, how people look at me, looking at myself through their vision, that's another awareness. But this time when we were doing a little focused meditation, we were looking at who I am and how extraordinary I am. Because most of us, right, based on what people have said about us, what we do, what we are told about ourselves, we have lost this original remembrance of how extraordinary each one of us is. So I just wanted to kind of play with that in the beginning, and that's what we were looking at. Can I look at myself differently so that when every time I think of myself, I think of this extraordinary being that I am. Beautiful, full of light and divine, not as anyone else looks at me. So awareness is a way of focusing. This comes naturally to every one of us. The easiest way to understand awareness is to think of a camera. I'm sure nowadays everyone has a camera, right? Even if you're not a professional photographer, if you have a phone, a smartphone, you probably have a camera and you know how it functions. How do you use the camera? The first thing you do when you want to use a camera is you focus on something, whatever you want to capture, right? You focus on it, you capture it. And then now it's available for you at any time you want to look at it, you want to analyze it, you want to change it, you want to develop it. Nowadays, you can do so many things with a picture that you've captured, right? But this is what a camera does, but this is what we do all the time. When we are living our life, when we go through our life, constantly, wherever my focus goes, I capture what's happening, and there is an image stored inside of me. But the difference here is it's not just the image as in what it looks like. When I capture a moment, because this camera of awareness doesn't capture just the picture, it captures the moment. So in that moment, what happened, how I felt, what was my experience, this whole thing is captured within us. And it's there. Sometimes it happens, right? You go to a party and everyone's having a great time and someone says something to you. At that point, it goes inside you, but you're not paying much attention. And then you come back home. And then when you have time, when you're sitting in the car or when you have come back home, you think, why did this person say this? What did they mean by saying it? What are you doing? Whatever you have captured inside you, you're developing it. You're trying to understand. And sometimes we embellish it. Oh, I know this is the reason she said this, and all of those things, right? To try and understand that moment. So, this is an idea of awareness. Awareness basically means wherever my attention goes, I capture that moment. I focus and I capture that moment, and now that moment is inside me. This is how we create memories. That's why you will see sometimes you've gone to a really nice place, everything is great there. But if you had one thing that wasn't okay and you captured it, it stays with you. All the rest is gone. But anytime you remember that occasion or that place where you went, you will remember this thing that you captured and the experience you had when you captured that. You understand this? This is how we create our memories, and this is how we create our experience. So many times you will see the experience we have of a moment is not exactly what's happening on the outside. It is what I have captured of what's happening on the outside. So before we go into a little more detail, let me tell you a story. And this is a very old story, and it's one of the tales of India. And it is about what we can do with our life, our awareness, how it is magical. And I heard the story as a child. So India, in the beautiful country of India, there is a state called Rajasthan. And in this state, there is a big desert called the Thar Desert. So once upon a time, a traveler was passing through that desert. And you know deserts, right? For long, long stretches, you don't have water, you don't have shade. It can be very, very tiresome. So he was traveling alone and he walked for a very, very long distance. And for miles ahead, all he can see is sand. There is nothing else there. And he's tired. He feels thirsty because it's really hot. And he's also hungry. So he stops, looks around. There's nothing he can see other than this hot sand for stretches. There's no village. There's no oasis there, nothing where he could shelter himself. Not a single tree. So now he gets a little upset, like, how am I going to make this journey? So he stops. He stops at a place and he just has this thought. I wish there would be a lush green tree in front of me and I could rest under it. You know how we have these wishes sometimes. So he wishes, oh, I just wish there was this beautiful lush tree, green, so I can rest under the shade. Suddenly, what happens? There was a huge tree covered with beautiful, shiny green leaves in front of him. The traveler is shocked, surprised altogether because it's a desert. And right, a few moments ago, there wasn't anything, right? But at the same time, he's also happy. So he sits down under the shade, says, okay, let me rest for a little while. And as he sits there resting under the tree, he thinks, I wish there would be some cool, clean water so I can quench my thirst. Suddenly, water appears in front of him. And he grabs it. He drinks all the water until his thirst is quenched. Then he thinks, what happens? Once you get a shade and you get water, what's the next thing that comes? Oh, I wish I had something to eat. The minute he has that thought, a variety of food appears in front of him. So the traveler eats. He's really happy now, a delicious food, and he eats all the food that he needs. Then he gets really sleepy. And he thinks, I wish there would be a cot here where I can lie down instead of lying down on the hot sand. A cot appears. You now know by now, right, what is going to happen? So he just lies down there and he falls asleep. So after sleeping for some time, he feels refreshed and he wakes up. Then he suddenly thinks, all this cannot be real. I'm in the desert in the middle of nowhere. And from where did all these things appear? There must be something magical going on here. Then he tells himself, oh, something magical. That means whatever I think is happening, thank God I wished for all the good things to happen. What if I had wished that there was a demon in front of me and he's ready to eat me up? The minute he has that thought, the demon appears in front of him, almost ready to eat him. So the demon roars and says, "Oh man, I'm ready. I'm ready to eat you up now." So just as the demon is coming close to him, he's trembling, and the traveler says, "Oh God, I wish this demon would disappear." And the demon disappears. And everything is back to normal where it started. So as this traveler gets up and he starts to move along, going to his place, he thinks, what was all that about? Was it a dream? Then he tells himself, whatever it is, I must be careful about what I think. Because many times in life, what I think comes true. And this may seem like a fairy tale, and it is. It's not a true story, but it's also a true story. In the sense, many times in our life, we make reality what we want. Let's say I go to an interview and I go into the interview thinking, I don't think I'm going to get this job. Tell me honestly, do you think I will get the job? Is there even a possibility that I will get the job when I go there with this thought that I don't think I'm good enough, I don't think I'll get this job? I will make that a reality. Even if something comes to me that's easy, I can answer and I can do all of that. Because of my awareness, right, that I am not good enough for this, I can't get this job, it will not happen. I will make some mistake, I will do something wrong there. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I call the magic of awareness. Many people are not aware of it. If you look at a person and think, oh, look at them, how they are, now you're going to see that your experience with that person is constantly going to be like that. Oh, they are like this. But if you had this thought that I'm going to have a good interaction, the possibility is over time, this interaction is going to change your experience of being with that person. There's also a similar Turkish story they tell about an elderly wise man who always sits outside of the village under a tree. One day a traveler comes to him and he says, I've come from very, very far off. I've seen many things and I've met many people. And he says, can you tell me if I go into this village, what kind of people will I meet there? So the wise man says, yeah, I can help you. I can tell you I am from that village. But first tell me, what kind of people have you met in your travels so far? So he says, oh, you wouldn't believe it. I have met the most awful of people. People are selfish, they are unkind to strangers, they never help anyone, they don't care about anyone but themselves. Young people who are foolish, old people who are lazy, they lack hope, they don't want to do anything, they're depressed. So the wise man looks at him and his eyes become very sad and he says, yeah, I believe I know exactly what kind of people you speak about. And I'm sorry to tell you that if you go into my village, that's exactly the kind of people you're going to meet. So the traveler says, oh, I knew it. It's always the same. So he kicks the dirt under his feet and he storms off into the road without even bothering to stop at the village. He goes off. A few hours later, another traveler comes And he asks the same question. He says, I've traveled far, I've seen many things, met many people. Can you tell me, if I go into this village, what kind of people will I meet there? So the wise man asks the same thing. He says, okay, I'll tell you, but you tell me, in your travels thus far, what kind of people have you met? So the traveler says, oh, you wouldn't believe it. I've met the most amazing people. People are kind, people are generous to strangers, they care for one another. I have met older people who have a lot of passion for life. I have young ones who are very enthusiastic about life. I've learned so much from all of them. So, as the traveler is saying this, the wise man says, yeah, I believe I know what you're talking about. And if you go into my village, that's exactly the same kind of people you're going to meet. Come, let me introduce you to them. It's a very interesting thing, right? It's the same village, it's the same wise man. But what the story is telling us is my outlook to life, my awareness, what I expect, it's exactly what I'm going to see in life. That's exactly what I'm going to experience in life. You may say that's not true. I am seeing life as it is. I'm a realist. I know what's happening practically in the world. And that's what I see. It's not what my mind says. So let's talk a little about this. What is my awareness doing to my experience of life? How come two different people have completely different experience of the same thing, of the same village, the same person, or even the same session, right? We are like, I don't know, 25, 30 of us, 40 of us sitting in the session. We're each going to go out with a different experience. It's the same session, nothing is different from for any one of us, but we'll go out with a different experience. It's not the same. And that different experience comes from my own awareness. Let's take an example, right? So there are a lot of things at any moment that you see, but there are only a few things that you actually remember or you narrate about inside yourself. Oh, I like this. You may see 100 flowers. There's just this one flower that captures your attention, right? Because the ones about which you are thinking on the inside, you're focusing on, are the ones that matter to you. So when you experience life, you're not experiencing life as it is. You are experiencing a model of life that you have created inside. It's not the reality. It is a mental model of this reality I have created. And this is what awareness does. So let's take, for example, let's say you have a friend called Tom. And you say, and you tell one of your friends, you say, every time I talk to Tom, it gets me so upset. Right? There may be someone else who doesn't have that kind of experience with Tom. They may have a good experience with Tom. They may say, every time I talk to Tom, I feel good. Depends on how each one experiences it, right? But for a moment, let's look at this, right? How do you know that when you talk to Tom, you get upset? How do you know this? It's very simple, right? I am the one who's experiencing being upset. But I'm also seeing myself become upset. I am the one who sees that I am becoming upset. And many of you have this experience, right? When you get angry, you know you're getting angry. You know you're saying certain things that you will regret later, but you end up saying it. That means even as you are doing the action, as you are thinking, as you're experiencing life, you are seeing yourself. You understand this? This is what I call attention, focus. Many times when we think of attention or focus, we're thinking of the outside world. But even inside of me, as I'm interacting, I am seeing myself. So I, the being that is inside, that's having this experience, I have this quality that we call awareness. I have the ability to focus on something. And when I focus on something, everything else relegates to the background, just like in a camera. You know, when you look out from a mountain, you may see so many things. And then you focus your camera on a certain thing. That thing that you're focusing on becomes reality. Everything else, it's there, but it all relegates to the background. This is awareness. This is the quality of awareness. This is something we constantly do in our life. You understand this at any time, even as you are listening to me right now, right? Not each one of you is focusing on the same thing that I am saying. You are focusing on what you understand of what I am saying. And that comes from inside of you, from your awareness, from your knowing, and from your focus. And the most beautiful thing about awareness, right? You can remove everything else from here. I know when you remove something because I'm aware, not just of the outside things, but also the inside things. But if I am not there, it doesn't matter what you change around here. Nothing matters. You understand this? So let us say you have like 10 plants in your house and you don't even look at them or anything. If one of them is missing, you wouldn't even know. But if you take care of the plants, you look at them every day, you interact with them, even one thing moves this way or that way, you will know this has moved and it shouldn't have moved. You understand this? This is awareness. Where my focus is, where my attention is where my awareness is. And my experience of life will depend on where my awareness is. Some people focus on the negative more. Oh, this person said this. They may have said 100 nice things. All of those are gone. But if in my awareness I focus on the one wrong thing that person has said, every time I remember that person, what's going to come into my memory? That same image of that person saying this thing. Now my awareness is tainted by that experience. You understand this? So we are spiritual beings. We live inside here and we are constantly, without any effort, without any intent, I'm sitting here and I keep observing and I keep focusing. I do this all day, but I am not aware of what I am focusing on. Wherever my eyes take me, wherever my ears take me, wherever my thoughts take me, I send my awareness there. So it's totally out of control. At any moment of time, if someone says something that upsets me, I get upset. Because my awareness is just drifting wherever my thoughts or wherever my eyes go. But it's possible to be in the midst of everything and be in a completely different awareness. Have you seen this? If you all have experience with children, when children are playing a video game, have you seen this? I mean, I was amazed when I saw this with a child. The world can happen around them and they have absolutely no idea. They are so deeply focused on the video game that they're not aware of anything else. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I'm saying this is an ability we all have. We can choose what we focus on. We can choose where our attention goes. If there are things I don't want to remember because they don't give me a good experience, I can remove my attention from there. I can remove my focus and move on. And we do this all the time, but we don't do it consciously. That is why we don't experience the magic of awareness. We're drifting with wherever it goes. But if I kept it in my heart and I said, this is what I want to focus on, this is the kind of experience I want, this is not what I want, then you will see that your experience of life can change completely. Absolutely. It's like a magician takes a dove out of a hat, right? And you say, it was just a scarf a minute ago. Now it's a dove. In the same way, it's possible to say, well, with this person, I always had bad interactions, bad experience. You can change it around and say, you know what? This time when I talk, that's not what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on having a good interaction at all costs. And you will see it's possible. We all know how to do this, right? When you all first came into, as children, when we all went into schools, what's the first thing the teacher will say? Concentrate on what I am saying, right? What does that mean? Did anyone, when you were 1 or 2 years old, teach you what it means to focus or concentrate? No one taught us these things. But when we go to school, or even when the mother is talking to the child, say, focus on what I am saying now, listen. That's because automatically within us, there is this ability to focus. And if we set ourselves to it, we can focus on it. We can focus on what experience we want. Not that I go through life and experience whatever comes my way. When you're traveling, there are two kinds of travel, right? Sometimes you just take the car and you go around aimlessly. I used to do that when I first came to the US. I did it even as a young girl in India. I love driving, so I would just take my vehicle and I would go around. I have no place to go. I was just enjoying the drive. And I used to do that when we came here first, because again, we love driving and we wanted to explore. So we wanted to see. So we just went around aimlessly looking here, there, all right, this is how it is, because the country was new to us. But there is another kind of travel, which is you know where you are going and you're mapping your way to go there. And we can do both of these. It's good sometimes to go around and get an experience. But all the time to aimlessly go around without having a focus or a destination, then we are not going to reach anywhere, right? This is where it's important to say, okay, I got an experience. Now I know what I want. Now I focus on the kind of experience I want to create for myself. You understand this? This is the key. It is possible to focus mentally, emotionally, and physically on what I want to achieve, what I want to experience, and where I want to be. And then that's the kind of experience I create for myself. Many times, what happens? Our focus is not really anywhere. Imagine, like when you're watching TV, right? What happens when you're watching a very interesting movie? You all have an experience of this, right? At some time or the other in our life, we do this. We watch a movie. In a way, when you watch a movie, it's a good thing because you get kind of distracted and then you feel good. You're fresh. You've forgotten whatever you were worrying about or thinking too much about. You feel good about it, right? But at that moment, what happens if a TV show or a movie is really good? It captures your complete attention. You actually forget where you are sitting and what is happening around you. Have you seen this? Have you seen a movie theater when a movie is not going, when the movie is not on? I think it's one of the weirdest places in the world. It's dark. You just see so many seats and it's really dark and it's not a beautiful place. But when you sit there and you're watching this movie, you have no idea. Could be any place. You're just lost in the movie, right? Now, that is a physical movie that we go to watch once in a while. But sometimes in our own life, the thoughts, the feelings, and the things that are going on inside our mind is like a TV screen. We are so lost in whatever is happening in here that we lose our focus. What is the focus of my life? Where did I want to get? Why am I lost in these thoughts and feelings that either I have created for myself or people have created for me? But the first step on a spiritual journey is to realize this. Is to realize that I just don't want to sit and watch this movie of my own thoughts, emotions, or what's going on in there. I want to drive this. I want my life to go in the direction that I want it to go, not wherever it goes. And it's possible to do that. If you step back from this movie, stop watching the movie, and actually create an action plan of what you want to get done. Imagine some Saturdays and Sundays, right? You're just so tired, you don't want to do anything, and you say, okay, I'm going to watch a TV show or a movie. And then sometimes you will see that you sit through all Saturday and Sunday, that's all you've done. At the end of Sunday, you look back, what did I do with my life? My whole weekend, I was binge watching something. Lost the whole weekend, right? Now that's a weekend. It's still okay. You still got Monday when you can come back and do different things. But in our life, days and days, weeks and weeks, years and years of our life, constantly watching what happened then, what this person said, what that, the things that are going on in our mind, we lost track of where we want to go. So when I talk about the magic of awareness, it is becoming aware that I have allowed my life to drift, but I don't want it to drift aimlessly, like we did in the beginning meditation, right? If I want it to drift, I want it to drift to the other shore, which is my destination. And what was on the other shore? This beautiful me who's full of light, who has no burdens, who's full of energy, beautiful, divine. That's the shore I want to go. That's where I want to reach. And when I have that aim, my awareness learns to focus on that, and I can find my path towards it. And one is the big destination of life, but also small things, right? Day to day. Every morning when I wake up, if I can check my focus, my awareness, what is it that I want to experience today? Not just what are the task lists, what are all the things I have to get done, but what is it that I want to experience in life? Now, it's like having a compass. I was trying to find that word and I couldn't remember suddenly. It's like having a compass. This is north, this is south, this is east, this is west. But a compass in life, this is where I am, and this is the direction I want to go. I don't want to drift in the sea. Now you will start seeing not only your experience of life, but also that you can actually see the destination because you're going in the right direction. And all of this comes from this little thing inside of me that I have always known how to do, which is Focus. Where should my attention go? What should be my focus? That's all I need. These are the only two ingredients to create magic in my life. Where is my attention? At any time when I remember something about someone, I want to remember the good things because then I have a good experience. If I remember all the wrong things, the bad things, the things that they said unknowingly because they were under the influence of anger or jealousy or something, then I am also going to change the experience of my life, right? So, focus and attention are the two ingredients that help us create magic in our life. And when I say magic, what I mean is you can experience heaven on earth. It's not a momentary thing. I feel good this moment and I don't feel good that moment. If I keep my focus and my awareness right, I can create heaven on earth in my life. And once I can create it in my life, I can automatically create it in everyone else's life. All right. I want to kind of stop here and see if any one of you have any questions. Are you all okay? I know we asked you to mute yourself, but you are able to unmute if needed, right?
Yes, you can unmute yourself if you have any question.
Was it too much? Was it difficult to follow what I was saying? Jyoti,
No.
I see you unmuted.
Yeah, I was just, when you were talking, I was thinking, when people say, do you see a glass half empty or half full? Is that kind of like, the, your awareness, it's like, how do you see the glass? And that's kind of how you live your life. It just, that analogy just came to mind when you were talking about awareness and how you focus.
Yeah. So when we talk about that, many people say, well, the reality is it's half full and half empty, and we have to know that. And I believe in that. That's true. You have to know that. But where is your focus? That's where the experience of life changes. Let's take your own example, right, of the glass half empty. If you think the glass is half empty, there is going to be fear, right? I don't have enough. I may not have enough. I have to keep this for myself. Now, that's the kind of awareness you will create, and that's the kind of experience you will create for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you see it as full, although you know, but your focus is on what you have. And now you create what you need from what you have. So it's a good one, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more on the internal also. It's not just about the outside world, right? But inside of me, I have many people say, oh, the world is such a bad place to live. It's a sad place. All are suffering. But to realize that in my life, I have this ability to create happiness for myself, create peace within, and then I can give the same to others. I don't have to watch what others have. From inside, I can create this. So the awareness works more on the internal, but it is a similar analogy. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for sharing that.
Sure.
Sometimes when we take when you started these lecture, you talk about capturing the moment. So when everything is pleasant around us, let's say when we go on vacation to another country, like you say, we make sure we bring a camera and take picture because everything is pleasant, and I want I want to look at those pictures in the future. So if in the future I'm having a bad moment, so I go back to those pictures to look at it so I can feel good. Is it the same thing with experiences? So let me think about the good experiences so I can have I can go back to my awareness.
It's a beautiful way of looking at it, right? When you look at the moments you take pictures of, no, these are moments you want to capture. You are having a good time. You're with someone you're enjoying things with, right? These are the moments you want to capture, and these are the ones you go back to when you look at the pictures. But with experience, what happens? We capture the moment. And if we capture a wrong moment, and this happens quite often in our life, I may have a very beautiful relationship with a person, but one moment, for whatever reason, they say something that hurts me. I capture that moment and I keep it inside me. Now, these moments stay back in my memory. And when I look at that person, these memories come back. So then I not only have a moment that I shouldn't have that is stored in my memory, but even future moments are corrupted because of a past experience. That's why they become even more powerful. So it's very important to know what I want to capture. If something doesn't work the way you want it to be, let go of it. And to let go of it in that moment itself is the brightest thing you can do for your life. Letting go of it. It's the smartest, it's the most intelligent thing you can do for yourself because you don't need it. Why would you want to capture trash? If you keep taking pictures of trash and keeping it in your camera, it's like every time you look, you're going to look at trash. What kind of an experience that would be, right? But we tend to do this without knowing it mentally. So that's where our attention should be on. Where is my focus? What do I want to capture? What do I want to keep with myself?
Thank you, sister.
Sure. Tarak, I see that you are unmuted. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I had two questions. This was great, by the way. Thank you for it. I have two questions. First, how do you remember to do this? So I listened to you, so I'll remember to do this for the next hour probably. How do I remember to do it tomorrow and 3 hours from now? And because you're in your day, you have to do stuff, right? So how do you keep track of that? That's the first question. The second question is, um, there are times when it's necessary to have
Mhm.
focus on negative things
Mhm.
because it's a problem that needs to be solved with analysis and focus, right? And so you have to put attention on a negative thing sometimes. So how do you think about so obviously you need to do both. Sometimes you need to go one way and sometimes the other way. And how do you think about, my guess is that I, like most people, probably do too much of one thing and not enough of the focus on the positive. So how do you think about like 90% of the time one way, 10% the other, 50-50, or how do you even think about trying to keep yourself balanced?
Mhm. So one of our dadis, who was the administrative head of our institution, Dadi Janki, she would always say, even if you have to focus on something someone has done, look at it as a game. You need to take care of it. But once it's over, it should go away. This is not what I should store inside of me. If I keep storing that, that's where this tendency comes, right? To keep looking at negatives. Like for example, if you have someone who is um, editor, you write them a very nice love letter. They look at it and say, "Oh, these words are not right. This should all be corrected." That's not the moment for it, right? So to know where you're needed to look at something because you need to take care of it, you do that. But that should not be the focus throughout. And the second thing, the first question that you asked, you start your day with a focus, with an aim. If you have an aim, The aim guides you through the day. So we always begin our day with a focus. And then you will find that as the day goes by, it is more and more possible to stay attuned to what your aim is. And I'm not going to say it's easy in the sense today you start and keep an aim for yourself and everything is going to work. It may not. Today you will keep an aim and it works for the next hour or two and it may slip. What do we do again? We try again. Just like each one of us here learned to walk, no? Do you remember the time when you learned to walk? You remember that when you tried to take the first step, you fell. You fell, you picked yourself up again, you tried again. I'm sure we all fell at least 20 to 100 times. And then we learned to walk. So even here, when you are trying to get your awareness to work in a certain way, it will slip, but you get back on track. You slip, you get back on track, like you learned how to drive a bike. No, I remember we are four sisters and we all tried to learn cycling at the same time. I was the last one to get it. Everyone else by then were already driving and I would still keep falling. Yeah, there are moments I felt ashamed of it. But when I had learned, I got it. And that's a life skill. It's the same thing here. So sometimes it will feel like it's not working. You will fall. You pick yourself up and you try again. There isn't anything we cannot get done. It just needs consistent effort. You must want to do it. But when you think that you're actually creating heaven for yourself, it's worth the effort. It's worth it because your experience of life transforms. So then it's worth making that effort, right? Then you will see it's possible. Try and see. You will start seeing small changes and over a period of time. And I know it's possible because I have seen this with my own seniors. I've seen people, I've seen our dadis, I've seen our sister Moini. In the midst of everything that's going on in an organization, which is a non-profit, and we are in like 110 countries, so many centers, so many kinds of people. In the midst of everything that's going on, she can hold herself still. And she did this by effort. So I know it's possible. And I know even for myself, from where I started to where I am today, I'm at an amazing place. When I want to drop something and I say, I don't want to go there, I don't want to think in this way, I'm able to do it. Not all the time, but many times. So it gives me hope that it's possible, but it needs effort. Does that help you, Tarek?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'm seeing some things in chat. Little mantras, affirmations to cue you back to what you want to be, where you want to be. Definitely helpful. Anyone else? Are you all okay? All right. If there are no more questions, then let's just finish with a couple of minutes of silence. So imagine yourself in a place that you connect with happiness and peace. See yourself in there. Think of this place where you felt close to God, close to His heart. And allow that memory to come back. What did it feel like? What was this place? What was I around? How did it feel? Begin to feel that presence. Begin to feel that strength and support. that support to move you in the direction that you want to move. As we make these navigation, God's presence, His directions in our life become more and more important. So see yourself as never being alone. It's as if you have a guide. You always have a companion who's trying to move you in the right direction. Feel the light from this divine come into you, making it possible for you to feel the truth and the love within you. Don't fear or feel shame or anything. Just allow yourself to be in the divine presence. Allow the light to guide you, to show you the path, to take you where you sincerely want to be. Om Shanti.
Thank you,
Thank you all
sister.
very much.
Shanti.
Have a wonderful evening.